Hi everyone, it's Ray here from Man City Fan TV. Well, yesterday after talking about all those old managers, it got me thinking and reminiscing about some of the good times, or bad times, depends how you want to look at it. We weren't that good in the late 90s, and decided today to wear one of my old City tops, and it's your Kappa top. You can have a look at that. It's very nice, it is too. A couple of days ago in the post, I got another present from Man City, and it's this. It's my Community Shield ticket for the match against Chelsea in just over a week's time, next Sunday. I was reading online that City have been struggling to sell tickets for the Community Shield, and I thought I'd delve a little bit deeper into the subject, and that's what this video is about. Why we're struggling to sell tickets for the Community Shield. Well, historically, it's a difficult game to sell tickets for, and as I said, it's been reported City are struggling to sell tickets, and we've only sold about half our allocation of 29,000 tickets. And I can see some opposition fans, they'll use this and as a stick to try and beat us with, and they'll come out with the usual nonsense, like you've got no fans and your plastics and the empty head, and yeah, it's a load of old baloney, it's a load of old rubbish. We've heard it all before, and to be quite honest, it gets quite tiring listening to their ignorant and semi-literate arguments. I feel if you can't challenge us on the pitch, you've got to find another angle with which to have a pop at us. And to be honest, it's best ignored, and that's what I tend to do these days. Don't rise up to it. It's not worth it. So let's look at some of the reasons why, as I said, City is struggling to sell tickets for this. I think probably for me, one of the biggest reasons, and I'll go into it in a little bit more depth later, is it's actually not a proper trophy. It doesn't really count. Another reason why we're struggling to sell tickets, I think it's just that people are on holiday. I mean, it's August, it's the school holidays, and people are taking the kids away on holiday. Another reason is, without wanting to sound arrogant, some fans have told me that they feel kind of jaded about going to Wembley so often. I think it's been devalued, the trip to Wembley, with all these games going on there, the Community Shield, the FA Cup semi-finals. It makes it mean less to us. And if you look back in the last, I think, 8 years, we've been to Wembley 11 times already. The FA Cup semi-finals are there, the FA Cup finals, we've been to League Cup finals, we've been to, I think, a couple of Community Shields there. And even last year, Spurs were using Wembley as their home, and I remember going down there. Yeah, it was a fantastic experience to play a league game, which was quite different. And it was great. Actually, it was a great game. We gave Spurs a good old lesson there. But it doesn't hold the same magic. It doesn't hold the same draw as it used to do. I think another big issue is it's a long way for fans from Manchester to travel down to London. If you want to do it in a day, you've got to have an early start. It's 3 o'clock kickoff, so you've got to be up and out by whatever, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock latest. And you're going to get home late, 11, 12 o'clock or whatever, something like that. And it's a long way to do in a day. And if you want to do it, if you want to spend one of the nights down in London, it's not that cheap either. So that's another issue for generally working class fans. There's a limit to how much money you actually want to spend. And one of the, as I said, meaningless game down in London, you can feel like you can lose it, and it doesn't really matter. And going back to what I think is the major reason why people are not interested in this game is they just don't care for what is, in essence, a meaningless, glorified friendly. I mean, looking at some of the rules apparently in this game, you can make 6 subs, and players who are suspended domestically can actually play in the game. And you think to yourself, well, what kind of competitive game is that? What kind of trophy are you going for when you've relaxed rules in such a manner? I think it makes no difference to City or our fans, as it doesn't really, as I said, it doesn't really count as a major trophy, or even in my book, it doesn't count as a trophy at all. Maybe it's a chance for some of our fans to visit Wembley to see City play, when they might not otherwise get a chance, as cup final tickets are much harder to come by. But what I've seen recently in the last couple of years, you get some players and clubs and managers have decided to count it as important. And just looking back in the last year or two, you've got people like Pogba and Mourinho, etc., who've turned around and said, "Yeah, we won 3 trophies," counting the Community Shield as part of that, and said we won a treble. Well, okay, you won a couple of cups, and And the Community Shield, it's not a fantastic treble, and as I said, I don't think it counts anyway. But I believe that those that are actually counting it as such are clutching at straws. It's just you get some fans who are trying to get one over on other fans, you know, to say, oh, hey, we won more trophies than you. And I think it's quite ridiculous. If you look back when Arsenal beat City a few years ago, I think they beat us 3-0, a bit of a pasting for us. Their fans went absolutely bonkers. A little bit, you can understand, you know, you beat City 3-0, it's a big thing. 3-0, you know, it's a bit of a pasting, as I said. But also, I think their fans had been starved of success, and they were clinging to this as some sort of, as I said, some sort of trophy when it really wasn't one. So I was thinking, is there anything that the FA could actually do to make it a little bit more appealing for fans to actually go to this game? And I think back to 2012 when we went to Villa Park. It was held at Villa Park for that year. And the crowd was about 35, 36,000. We could do it in a day. We went down on the coach from City. I took my little kid with me then. I felt it had a better atmosphere there because you had more genuine fans attending the game rather than loads of corporates that you get at Wembley. And some of the club Wembley patrons, I mean, I actually don't think they're really that interested in football. So I really hope that Wembley is sold and that we actually only use it as it was meant to be. And that's for prestigious games like the FA Cup final, League Cup final, and playoff games. I think they're prestigious enough. And then you move the FA Cup semi-finals back to somewhere else, move the Community Shield, let it travel, and let the England games travel around the country as well. Personally, I'd like the Community Shield to go on tour at appropriate different venues, like the England internationals as well. And we've got enough big grounds in this country to take it on tour. I mean, in the Northwest, we've got Old Trafford. That's about 75, 77,000 seats there. You've got the Etihad, which is about 55,000. You've got Anfield, newly developed, redeveloped. That's about 54,000, I think. In the Northeast, we've got St James's Park in Newcastle, which is, I think, about 52, 53,000. You've got Stadium of Light, Sunderland, which holds 48 or 49,000. You can drop down into the Midlands. You've still got Villa Park. I think that holds about just over 40, 42,000 fans. And then you've got the three stadia in London. You've got the new White Hart Lane, which will hold, I think, 62, 63,000, something like that. And you've got the Emirates at 60,000, as well as the London Stadium holding 60,000 as well. So you've got whatever, about 8 or 9 venues there that could quite comfortably host the Community Shield game. And I remember back in 2011 when City played United, we all, you know, both sets of fans had to traipse down to London for the game, and I would much rather have gone to Villa Park or even St James's Park in Newcastle. It's much closer, much cheaper. If you want to stay over, it's a great night out. And yeah, as I said, it's nicer on the old wallet, on the back pocket. And for us generally working class fans from the north, it's a much better day out for us, to be quite honest. If you've got 2 London clubs or 2 southern-based clubs, by all means, have it in London. But just try and make it more fan-friendly for the rest of the country. So we'll go down to Wembley next Sunday to watch the game against Chelsea. Win, lose or draw, to be honest, I don't care. It'd be nice to win. There's not much bragging rights, to be honest, involved. I just want the players to get a bit of a run out, to get a few more miles into their legs, and to all come back uninjured. And as I said, it's a good day out. I'll see plenty of my mates down there. We'll have a good time regardless, but I don't care what the result is. To everyone who's already subscribed to our YouTube channel, thanks very much. Thanks a bundle. We've already broken through the 1,500 subscribers mark, and we never thought we'd get that far so soon before the start of the season. If you get any City mates who are not subscribed to the channel, hey, pass the word around. The more the merrier, the better for everybody. We'll keep putting out regular content about City, about the finances, about transfers in and out, about when we get into the actual season. We'll go through games, you know, previews, and going to matches, and talking to fans, getting their opinions. We've got a lot of interviews lined up in the next 3 or 4 weeks with ex-players, ex-City captains, and people associated with the club in whether official or unofficial capacities. So I think it's going to be fun and exciting times in the next season to come. If you haven't subscribed already, what's stopping you? We'd absolutely love to have you on board for the season, to get your opinions, get your comments, maybe interview you. It'd be absolutely fantastic to watch our Might be a roller coaster season. See how we do in the Premier League, whether we can match what we did last year, whether we can do better in the Champions League, what we're going to do in the Cups, everything else. I think it's going to be a fantastic season, and as I said, we'd love to have you on board with us. And remember, everybody who's subscribed to the YouTube channel before the first game of the season against Arsenal will be entered into a free prize draw for a fantastic City-related prize. See you around, Blues.